It's said that the body can survive for 8 to 21 days without food or water. In scary cases, people stranded without food or water have taken extreme measures in order to survive. From a man that survived only on windshield wiper fluid to another that survived on bodily fluids. Let's talk about these cases and more only in today's video. Top 10 dark things people did due to starvation, part 2. But before I go any further, exciting news! We are on TikTok! Check out Most Amazing Top 10's official TikTok to see more creepy stories and to get to know us hosts better. See you there. Starting off this countdown, we have the desert. Back in 2011, 84-year-old Henry Morello was driving to his home outside of Phoenix, Arizona, when he took a wrong turn. He attempted to make a U-turn and ended up crashing in a ditch. He was left there stranded with a dead cell phone. For 5 days, Henry waited, hoping someone would come to his rescue. During the cold nights, he would huddle under his floor mats. But it got to the point where he needed something to eat and drink. So he started to drink his windshield washer fluid. Thankfully, a couple of days later, a pair of hikers saw his car and came to his rescue. Now, just because Henry survived off of windshield wiper fluid does not mean you should go drink it. No, doctors say he's lucky because it could have killed him. And if you guys are liking this video so far, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps us out. In our 9th spot, we have Poon Lim. Poon Lim was a Chinese sailor on a British merchant vessel during World War II. The ship was on its way to New York when it was attacked by a German U-boat. The ship was completely destroyed, but Poon managed to escape, and he managed to survive 133 days alone in the South Atlantic. It's pretty unbelievable. Poon survived by catching and eating live birds. He would drink their blood to quench his thirst. He also used his minimal resources to catch sharks. He would catch them, then drink the blood from the shark's liver to survive. In the end, he was rescued by some fishermen. After all he had been through for 133 days, he only lost 20 pounds. So clearly, he got enough calories. And at number 8, we have the Grand Canyon Adventure. On December 22nd, 2016, a woman named Karen Klein, her husband Eric Klein, and their son were on a road trip to the Grand Canyon. However, their GPS system was faulty and kept leading them onto closed roads. Eventually, while following the GPS, the car ended up in a muddy ditch. There was no cell service, so Karen decided to go out for help. But while out, a huge snowstorm hit. She found shelter under a spruce tree. Apparently, she kept herself awake by replaying Star Trek episodes in her head. That's just a little fun fact I thought I'd throw in there. Star Trek literally kept her alive. As Karen continued on, she eventually pulled a groin muscle and lost a shoe. She was cold and suffering from hallucinations. She ended up eating pine needles and drinking her urine to survive. 36 hours later, on Christmas Eve, rangers found Karen. Moving on to number 7, we have the bear attack. In 2019, a man named Alexander was attacked by a bear and then dragged into the bear's den. Alexander was badly injured, but the bear kept him alive. Its plan was to keep him as a snack for later as he went into hibernation. Alexander was trapped in this bear den for a month. He was so injured from the attack that he couldn't get away on his own. He managed to survive by drinking his own urine. A month later, hunting dogs sniffed him out, and the hunters rescued Alexander from the cave. Any longer, and he might not have made it. Coming in at number 6, we have John Lipith and Mark Adams. In 1982, Deb Brad Kavanaugh, the captain John Lipith, and his girlfriend Meg Mooney, and Mark Adams all got on a yacht and planned to go to Florida to meet up with its owner. After the boat passed North Carolina, a massive storm hit and trashed the boat. 2 days later, it began to sink, so they were all stranded on a lifeboat. Captain and Mark began to drink seawater, but that combined with the alcohol in their body made them hallucinate. It got so bad that the two jumped into the water. The captain said he was going to swim to shore, which was nowhere to be seen. And then the sharks got him. Mark jumped into the water saying he was going to get cigarettes. The sharks got him also. Deb and Brad were the only ones to make it out alive. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the USS Indianapolis. On July 30th, 1945, the USS Indianapolis was struck by 2 torpedoes. Within 12 minutes, the boat sunk completely. Now, they didn't have enough lifeboats for all the men on board, so most strapped on a life jacket and then just jumped into the waters. Of the 900 that survived the initial sinking, only 316 made it out of the waters alive. Those that survived shared their story. So according to them, for days they were just floating around at sea. Some Some were killed by hungry sharks. Others passed away from dehydration. In fact, men were so desperate that they started drinking the salt water, but this caused them to become delirious. Got so bad that the men started to attack and harm each other. Others would see things in the water. They would yell that they saw food in the water. They would then swim down and never return. To this day, it's said to be one of the worst sea disasters in US naval history. Moving on to number 4, we have the Princess of Wales shipwreck. In 1820, the Princess of Wales ship set out on a seal hunting voyage, but it ended badly when the ship crashed in March of 1821 at the Crozet Islands. Now, there was not a lot of food on the island to keep the crew alive, so they started killing sea elephants. So according to one of the crewmen, they would wash in the sea elephant's blood. Then they would eat their brains raw. And apparently it tasted sweet like sugar. Yeah, that's what they said. Some managed to survive this accident by strictly eating brains. Moving on to number 3, we have Moro Prosperi. In 1994, 39-year-old Moro Prosperi took place in a 6-day marathon through the Sahara Desert. Every 10 kilometers, there was a refreshment point for the runners to refuel themselves. But on the 4th day, a huge sandstorm struck. Moro was covered by the sand. It was fine though. He freed himself and kept going once the storm was over. Only problem was, he no longer knew which way to go. He ended up traveling 4 hours in the wrong direction. He was running out of supplies when he realized that he was lost. At one point, he found a marabout and stayed there for quite some time. There, he would capture and drink the blood of bats and also drink his own urine to survive. He also did the same to snakes and lizards. He would catch them, drink their blood, and then eat them raw. That is hardcore. Finally, after several days, he was found and rescued. Moving on to number 2, we have the expedition. Back in 1845, Sir John Franklin led 2 ships filled with 129 men to explore the Canadian Arctic in search of the Northwest Passage. However, along the way, the ships ended up getting stuck in ice, and they all faced a chilling death. But thanks to the ice, the bodies of the crewmen were preserved. In the 1980s and 1990s, researchers recovered the remains of the crew on King William Island, and they found some pretty terrifying things. It was thought that the crew resorted to cannibalism for their last couple of days. They had food aboard the ship, but many were sick from scurvy and tuberculosis, hypothermia, and pneumonia, which made them disoriented and wild. The crew were found with cut marks all over their body, indicating that their flesh was cut off the bone and eaten. On other men, their bones had been cracked open and the bone marrow was feasted on. And in our number 1 spot, we have the Terror Famine. The Terror Famine, or the Great Famine, was a famine that devastated Soviet Ukraine from 1932 to 1933. Millions of Ukrainians lost their lives. A lot of people have then shared their stories from that time. People were so desperate for food that they sold any and all of their possessions for it. Not only that, people started to eat their family members. Yeah, when someone in the family passed away from starvation, the family would save their body and feast on it. It's actually quite sad. One man, in fact, was caught selling human meat to others. Turns out he was killing people in the town and then selling their meat, but not telling anyone that it was human meat. Eventually, he was caught. Still, it's very sad and disturbing. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let's move quickly along to our comment shout out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, top 10 dark things people did due to Starvation Part 1. It was with Che. He was the host. Ashai YT commented, no matter how dark things get, this man will always have a smile on his face. It's true. Che always has that great big smile. 34 Blue commented, I wonder after all these dark facts, he just goes on with his day. Pretty much, yeah. We research all these dark heavy topics and we're like, well, glad that's over with. And then we just go on with our day and we sip our tea. Alina Keen commented, tell me why my phone says this video has -1 dislikes. Okay, a lot of people have been commenting that lately. Is this like a new thing, YouTube? Is it a glitch or something? A glitch in the matrix, maybe? Because a lot of people are like, why is there negative likes? I don't know how that's possible. I don't know. All right, guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya.